Did you know that the V8 engine is not the top selling engine anymore? No, it is being replaced by turbocharged V6s, inline V6s, diesel engines, and four-cylinder engines in full-size trucks. And I am certain you got your keyboard ready. You're ready to fire off a comment on how that pisses you off. All you want is a naturally aspirated V8. Doesn't exist anymore. It's all hybrids. It's all the mild hybrid, like the Hemi. It's all cylinder activation. But no, there is no V8s anymore, and it's not the top seller. Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, coming from you from the road. I'm here in Upper Michigan with my camper. Yeah, I'm on a family camping trip, but that doesn't stop the work. No. Work to be done. Let's talk about V8 engines and how some interesting news came out this week. This is Friday. It's Truck News Recap Day. I'll have this as a podcast, also video, and I put together a collection of stories and do a video and talk about other things in this video that kind of makes sense what happened this week. Lots of hot topics going on this week. It's been fire in the comments. It's been fun to watch. So when I haven't been driving the camper around with the new Hemi, or no, I said Hemi. I did not. With my Hurricane engine. I get the H's confused. Rams got too many H's. We need the different names for engines. So the story comes from the drive.com. My friend Joel Feder has a new job over there, and he's the content manager, and he's got the story. Caleb Jacobs wrote it, but I know Joel was a part of it because Joel's been talking a lot about it on social media. The V8 engine, if I can get this freaking mouse to work, sorry, campground Wi-Fi. The V8 engine isn't America's truck engine anymore, and they have the proof. This was rather interesting, really interesting story. So, V8 engines undoubtedly cheer the loudest, and I've seen them on TikTok lately. Holy cow, the TikTok comments. YouTube, Instagram comments this week. I've done some really controversial shorts, and they talk about this stuff. So let's break it down. So the V8 engine is coming back with the Hemi, and so we know that Toyota killed the V8, and they have a twin turbo V6, and we know that GM has the most V8s left. Ford has the V8 powered pickups as well, but they actually dig down in the numbers. So we know that Ford offers about 25% of the vehicles they sell, the F-150s, with a V8 engine. Ram anticipates about 25% of the Ram 1500s are going to sell with the V8 engine. That's it. Out of all the sales they have, about 25%. General Motors has a 5.3 liter and a 6.2 liter, and they found the data, and the data says that they make up about 42% of the Silverado 1500s are the 5.3 liter engine, and about 8%, only 8% of the Silverados come with a 6.2 liter. And that kind of makes sense if you think about the 6.2 liter V8 recall that only impacted, I say only, but it impacted 597,000 trucks. I say only because if you look at the total volume of Silverados they sell a lot more than that. So it's not the high volume truck. The stout 3 liter Duramax is not the volume seller either. But after the 5.3 liter, they actually have the most prominent by far is 36%. So a lot of people are buying the base 2.7 liter. That makes sense. A lot of fleet buyers will just get the base engine. And I tell you what, I've talked to a lot of dealerships, and they tell me a lot of fleet buyers, they love the little turbo engine. A lot of pep. Tow's great. They like the little turbo engine. They don't need the big the V8. They want the more power just for the fleet guys. So they said the numbers here are pretty clear that the EcoBoost engines are now the premium option. And Ford has said this. They sell a lot more of the V6 EcoBoost than they do anything else. They also have the smaller 2.7 liter EcoBoost, and they reached out to Ford, and Ford says that each engine offering counts for approximately equal split of sales volume, meaning the V6s far outweigh the V8. So the 2.7 and 3.5 about split, and the V8 about 25%. General Motors, we talked about. Toyota only sells the 3.4 liter twin turbo, and their sales are up with just the turbo. They're better than the V8 sold. I know. Even with the recall, they're better. I'll show you the data on that. And so Stephanie Brindley, who's the principal automotive analyst at S&P Global, she got the firm's U.S. data. V8 pickups made up 64.6% of all half-ton truck registrations in 2020. 64.6% in COVID, first COVID year. By 2024, the number dropped to 38%. Meanwhile, full-size trucks with six-cylinder engines increased from 32.8% to 47.6% over the same period. Impressively, the 4-cylinder GM half tons accounted for 11.5% of registrations on their own just last year. The reason for change is that V6 and 4-cylinder options are far stronger than they used to be. The Ram 1500, for example, provides case in point the Hurricane 6-cylinder engine. And I know I'm driving one right now, towing the camper. And I got to tell you what, the high output Hurricane, I've towed with a Hemi, and I'm towing with a high output Hurricane. It's no contest. And I love the Hemi engine. But when you're talking about 521 pound-feet of torque versus the Hemi at 410, the same right here, 495, 410, it's not even close. And the power delivery is not even close. It is just, it's incredible how much this high output outperforms the Hemi. And I love the Hemi. So that case. What's really interesting about this news as well, and I found this quote really interesting, is there's a Ford executive. He was in Europe talking about how, you know what, Ford made it stop building their own engines and transmissions because he says customers are stopping caring about powertrains overall. And I thought, boy, I'm doing a little short on this right now because this is really gonna piss off people. This is really, you got me kind of a little fired up. I was like, what is this guy talking about? He makes an interesting point. So Ford has made a deal with Volkswagen. They're really getting to doing more deals. Remember, GM has done a deal with Ford as well on transmission, that they've got some love and hate about this combination transmission they're doing. But he brings up an interesting point. He goes, I think powertrains, ICE powertrains, gasoline and diesel powertrains, over time are going to need to consolidate because of emissions rules globally. He's in the Bernstein Strategic Decisions Conference. This Ford Vice Chair John Lawyer, he's talking about globally because Ford's looking at globally Euro 6 emissions. People always say there's no European emissions. There are the things they talk about, and they're not going to be different. He says, I don't think customers really think about powertrains the way they did 30 years ago. That made me pause. I thought, interesting. Where it defined what a vehicle was, the horsepower, displacement, and the torque, everything about the vehicle was a lot about what was underneath the hood. He says, I think a lot of that is gone. And so does everybody need to develop the next 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder as it comes. So he's saying, does everybody need to keep developing their own powertrains when customers don't really care about powertrains as much as they used to? And it does bring up an interesting point in that if you think about all the SUVs in the marketplace today, all the SUVs are all turbocharged engines underneath the hood. They don't change. There's nothing different about them. I mean, so do you really care that there's a Chevy turbocharged engine at the hood of an SUV versus a Ford turbocharged engine? I don't know that you do. Maybe trucks are different. Maybe Duramax and Cummins and Power Stroke are different on the diesel side. But are you caring about EcoBoost versus the 2.7? So, for example, 2.7 liter Chevy Silverado versus the 2.7 liter Ford. One's a 6, one's a 4. Does that matter to you? Interesting thoughts. More interesting thoughts. Hold on a minute. I got more details on this channel, more stuff coming on this video. Let's first go to my friends at Expel, new channel sponsor. I want to share some sales data with you, and let's talk about V8s as well and how that's impacting overall sales and why their numbers may not make sense in a drive. I don't know about you guys, but the older I get, the more products I need to make myself look good. Yeah, much like my truck here. We've washed it, we've cleaned it, and I have a ceramic coating on this, but now it needs a boost. Yeah, this boost is gonna bring out the ceramic coating even more and give it that nice showroom quality look to it. And you can do it at home. So I'm gonna take my nice microfiber towel here, put some spray on it, and we're just gonna shine it up, right? So this will bring out those hydrophobic properties, get that water to come off of here, and give that nice smooth coating, kind of like a baby's bottom. Yeah, so when you put your hand on it, it's nice and smooth. Dirt and mud just falls off of this truck. And even though I decided, like an idiot, to get a nice white truck here in a very dusty part of the country, it doesn't look that dirty most of the year. Yeah, this is a great product. Let me bring the camera in closer. We'll take a closer look at how this is applied. Here's what I'm kind of talking about. This is really nice and shiny and smooth, and this isn't. This is kind of tough to the touch. So this is boost, this is non-boost. Let's give ourselves a little love on this side. Put a ceramic boost up here, so smooth, not smooth. So kind of wax on, wax not. So we'll get a little love in there. We'll kind of just, oh yeah, just like smooth as a baby's bottom. Look at that. So there you go. You can get yours at expel.com. If you have ceramic coating, this boost is something you need after car washes to really bring out that ceramic coating again, to make sure that that coating lasts for a long period of time. Trust me, I'm kind of an expert. Okay, back to the video. So if you look at the sales data, which I pulled back Q1, I think the drive is a little bit off, because they're looking at only half-ton sales. Because you look at the medium duty trucks, or heavy duty trucks, excuse me, in this case, most heavy duty trucks are either gas or diesel engines, and that's considered part of those numbers too, right? So why are we just saying that V8 engines are only consumers? You gotta, I know a lot of consumers who are now buying heavy duty trucks, whether they need it or not. Trust me, I passed a lot of them on the way up here from Michigan, on the way from Nebraska through Illinois, through Iowa, and Iowa through Illinois, through Indiana, through Michigan. A lot of them pulling campers, same size I was pulling them, with 3/4 ton trucks. Why? No cylinder deactivation, no hybrids, no direct injections, and naturally aspirated V8 under the hood. They just want that simplistic engine, so they're buying a 3/4 ton truck. So what about those guys? Those guys aren't all commercial guys. So I think those guys factor in as well. So I'm not so sold on the drive's numbers overall. I'm going to do a little criticism there. So I don't know. You guys can put comments down below. What do you guys think of that? Like, I think that's a little bit playing in there as well, because if you go back to those sales numbers and you look at the overall sales, if you consider that commercial fleets buy a lot of half-ton trucks as well as heavy-duty customers, some of those are commercial, as they are consumer. And no, I'll never, unless I get some sort of magic lottery ticket, be able to ever tell you the difference between fleet customers and consumer customers. My best guess is these numbers are 50-50. If you just take these numbers and split them in half, that's my best guess, that half these numbers are fleet and half of them are consumers. That's my best guess. So, you know, that I think it's 50-50. So I think that some of these heavy duty customers are really consumers who want those natural aspirated V8 engines. And then diesel impacts this as well. A lot of consumers want diesel. I mean, diesel is a great powertrain. I had it in the Silverado half-ton, and that 3-liter diesel is an amazing powertrain. And I'm really still confused why more truck brands like Ford and Ram can't figure the hell out how to build a half-ton diesel that's worth a crap. That's confusing to me, because that Silverado was amazing. I would prefer to have the Silverado right now than the Hurricane, because I'm getting like 9, 10. I got 10 today. I got 8 coming out, maybe 9. And I could do that diesel. I'd probably get 12, 13. And I know the diesel is more expensive, but wait a minute. I got to put premium fuel in this. And by the way, premium fuel in Michigan, it's expensive. Holy crap. I had a fill up the other day. It was 133 bucks for a fill up, empty to full, because of Michigan gas prices. Y'all are nuts. In Nebraska, it's like tops 90 bucks. So you guys are crazy. All right. Also going to the website. We had a lot of stuff going to the website. We're on MSN now, by the way. If you haven't been to MSN, I'll put a link down below in the comments. We're on MSN. So if you're on MSN, check us out over there. Oh, wait, Cadillac Lyric Recall. We have the safest pickup trucks. There's 2 that made the safest pickup trucks thing. I did some safe things on YouTube Shorts, or excuse me, on TikTok and stuff. I'm doing a lot more stuff over there. I got to do some videos over on YouTube when I get it back home. Safe pickup trucks is a controversial topic. Talking about mandatory safety equipment, how it's increasing price of trucks. The comments are crazy on that. We had GM invested $4 billion U.S. plants, but that's not quite the full story. More details on that. Political football on that one. I can't wait till politicians screw up that story, because they're going to. Mazda recall on that. We have all sorts of details on the website. Lots of stuff going on. Impossible. Why there's no 40,000 full-size new trucks. Stuff going on. Then we had the forum. I'm trying to keep on the forum.pickuptrucktalk.com. I got 5 notifications, man. I'm over there as much as I can. I'm over there more than I am YouTube. Get over in the forum. Topics going on, live conversation. I'm on there a lot. I'm responding to stuff. I'm taking criticism. You got me over there. on YouTube channel. What happened this week on YouTube? Okay, so what do we have on YouTube? We had the flip flop on the oil, which is my oil or truck news recap last week. I had the Ram CEO do all the new comments. You got Andre in the video. You got Truck King in the video. People love to see people. Oh, I did talk about safety on this channel. I talked about it on the YouTube channel. Sorry, I'm camping this week, putting out lots of content. Things have been going crazy. I had the Mazda so unappreciated. I had the federal mandates, killing the cheap trucks, EPA's fault. Lots of details on that. It's interesting. People are just like, you're right, or you're wrong, or you're amazing, or you're awful. Jesus Christ, I got people going, you need to stop drinking the Kool-Aid, Tim, and you should do stories that make sense. And I got people going, no, Tim, you're spot on. And I'm thinking to myself, guys, I'm camping. This is sure as hell not Kool-Aid. You know what this is. I know what this is too. This ain't Kool-Aid. It's not happening. So there you go. That's this week's Truck News Recap. Check back next Friday. More fun stories. Yeah, check out the stories up over here on the website. Down below. Videos. All the cool stuff. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road.